The wedding of Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos, his wife Lauren Sanchez in Venice. The couple tying the knot in front of a VIP guest list.
Imagine the planet's wealthiest man turning Venice into his personal movie set, where every ripple in the water glowed like liquid gold. A $50 million wedding promised to eclipse every celebration before it, mixing royalty, movie legends, and tech titans under a canopy of mirrors and moonlight. From outside, it looked flawless. Yet one invitee, handpicked from the upper crust, felt a chill under the heat of those crystal chandeliers. That familiar face could not pretend everything was perfect. Chairs cost more than college fees. Champagne flowed like tap water, yet something felt rotten. They later called the night an influencer circus in disguise, a glossy dream bill for cameras instead of people. Whispers grew into grumbles, then an outright blast of anger. What did this guest see that the rest missed? Why did their attack shake the very launch of Bezos' wedding fantasy, a love story sold as modern royalty? This tale is a study of power, image, and a thin paint of perfection. When an insider flips, the polished surface cracks, and the truth rushes out. Did the pasta sparkle with gold leaf? Were legal papers forcing silence on everyone? Or was the event a fragile bubble that popped the moment someone spoke their mind? Keep watching, since the bombshell claims will leave you stunned. The planners build Venice as a stage fit for the century's greatest romance, blending old Europe with billionaire bravado. Lauren Sanchez, the pilot and media star, stood beside Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder with a fortune larger than many countries. To the public, it looked like a fresh royal match. Beneath the laughter, something darker brewed that even unlimited cash could not hide. Secrets always leak, and when they do, bright facades shatter. Entire sections of Venice closed for the party. Streets emptied. Tourists rerouted. Gondolas ordered away. Locals grumbled that their floating city had been seized, stripped of soul, and turned into a billionaire playground. No flourish felt too much for Bezos. Yachts lined the canals like jeweled lockets. Ecuadorian roses formed towering hearts across bridges. A custom glass tent rose by the Grand Canal, lit by glittering Murano chandeliers that made the night sky look dull. The air itself carried a designer scent, sweet and impossible to escape. The dress rule echoed the 18th century with a modern twist. Top stylists flew in early to fit couture, so rare it required bodyguards. Gowns cost more than family homes. Silks shimmered in candlelight. Diamonds flashed with every handshake. It felt less like a wedding and more like high theater performed behind velvet ropes. Stars filed in like collectible figurines. Leonardo DiCaprio sailed up on a sleek boat, while Jay-Z and Beyoncé strode, in wearing matching royal blues. Tom Cruise chatted with European leaders. Even Elon Musk's mother dazzled in satin blue. The royal house of Jordan arrived, and the night jumped from lavish to legendary. Behind those perfect smiles, one person boiled with quiet fury. While others clinked flutes and posted flawless angles, this guest saw chaos dressed in couture. They had attended real high society weddings before and knew genuine elegance. What they witnessed looked like a well-lit commercial, not a celebration. They sneered at mass-produced wine, lukewarm food, and forced cheer. The energy bothered them most. Under folded napkins, they claimed the couple barely locked eyes. Visitors whispered that even the vows felt stiff and scripted. The breaking point came fast. A soft jab in the cigar lounge, a louder swipe over dinner, then a full-on speech that froze the ballroom. Security rushed in, cameras flicked off, public relations squads huddled in corners, yet the spark already jumped. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Some guests traded worried looks. Others grabbed phones to text frantic updates. The charm of the night shattered, and no one knew whom to trust. Insiders claimed Jeff and Lauren were not blindsided at all. They had been warned this guest loved dramatic exits. Why risk inviting them? Some say Jeff feared the fallout of leaving a notable name off the list. Others hint Lauren pushed for their presence, misreading the simmering tension. Either way, the gamble failed. The rant stole every headline, drowning out vows, cake, and couture. Glossy press releases painted the party as magical, yet damage control teams scrambled behind locked doors. Paparazzi photos were bought and locked away. Influencers were asked to delete live clips. As for the rebel guest, an NDA thicker than the dessert menu sealed their lips for a while. Yet the internet never forgets. Podcasts picked up the buzz, blind items at front pages, and soon people talked about the fake feel rather than the supposed fairy tale. Who was the spark that lit the fire? She stepped off her boat alone, no partner on her arm. Dressed head to toe in shimmering gold balmain, she drew every eye on the dock. She once held an Oscar nod, and now hosts a blunt podcast that skewers Hollywood elites. Her name sat nowhere on printed programs, yet insiders recognized her instantly. She did not chase selfies. She arrived with a score to settle. Eye rolls during the welcome speech, thin smiles during each toast, and a simmering scowl at every choreographed moment. From the first minute, she looked ready to pounce. Reporters who tried to peek from passing boats were blocked by black screens that rose like castle walls. Even local news crews shrugging on early shifts found their usual paths closed by private guards. The city never sleeps, and whispers leaked into morning markets. Bakers joked that even their bread smelled like billionaire ego. Baristas told tourists about wild lights over Grand Canal that kept residents awake until dawn. Anger brewed among shop owners who lost a weekend of sales. They claimed the glossy party stole not only streets, but the heart of Venice. One merchant shouted that the city felt like an expensive film set rented for one night, then tossed aside. Still, the question burned brighter than fireworks. Was a wedding always meant to be a global photo op, a staged fantasy for headline glory? Or did it derail only when one bold guest refused to clap? In online forums, users posted side-by-side clips showing the pair stiff at the altar compared with their relaxed yacht photos. Fans wondered if the romance was genuine or a scripted brand launch. Commentators pointed out that the bride and groom flew in specialists who shaped public opinion. Crisis managers monitored hashtags, burying any hint of trouble with glossy images and sponsored think pieces. Yet every attempt to bury the outburst made people dig deeper. The more silence the couple demanded, the louder the internet roared. By Monday, podcasts poured over seating charts, florist invoices, and catering slips. People studied shadows and leaked photos to guess who sat near the furious guest. Conspiracy threads bloomed faster than roses on the bridge. Venice officials soon faced questions about permits, noise levels, and harbor traffic. Some hinted that the city earned a nice fee to shut streets, yet locals still demanded answers. Through it all, the unnamed guest stayed quiet behind ironclad legal walls. But her earlier words kept echoing. She had thrown a single spark and exposed a party that many now call the coldest love story money could buy. No one guessed she stepped off that boat with a secret mission. Phone in hand and eyes sharp, she scanned the ballroom where every crystal sparkled like a lighthouse calling for selfies. While guests twirled under the chandeliers, she logged every flashy pose, every forced laugh, every text fired off the moment Lauren swept in. This was not gossip hunting. It was live field work. One insider whispered she was clocking everything like a spy collecting data. A few hours after the final spin, on the dance floor she struck. Her first post was a shaky clip, a lonely slice of fish leaning against a single sad spear of asparagus. The caption hit harder than the video. 50 million for this. Jeff's sweetheart, did you think Spirit Airlines was Venice? Phones around the globe lit up at once. Within minutes, retweets flew, like sparks in dry grass. Next came slow-motion footage of a waiter fumbling a champagne cork into a guest glass while nervous laughter bubbled up. Then she panned across a centerpiece of artificial orchids tucked between cheap LED candles and fired off another burn. This centerpiece screams Olive Garden bachelorette party. Who signed off on it? The tone was savage and the reach was planetary. Just when viewers thought the heat had peaked, she dropped audio that froze hearts. A voice that matched Lauren Sanchez quivered with anger at the florist. You promised peonies. There are ranunculus here. Are you trying to embarrass me in front of Rihanna? That low name Rihanna became instant meme gold. TikTokers threw on wigs and recreated the meltdown with boxed wine props, while the comment section howled. Under the jokes, real damage grew. Her wildest charge was still waiting. She claimed the wedding was a luxury mirage. Jeff Bezos allegedly hired Amazon contractors dressed as elite vendors to fake a $50 million wonderland. The gleaming white marble dance floor? Rental vinyl press to look expensive. Royal guests sipping vintage, box wine wearing fresh labels, servers in starch coats, budget hires flown in under made-up titles, then suited up in uniforms from restaurants they had never even visited. One commenter nailed it. It is like buying caviar on a bargain app and serving it in a Faberge egg. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Amazon affair, hashtag ranunculus rage, hashtag Bezos budget wedding flooded every feed. Late-night hosts joked that Venice felt less like a city of love and more like a dropship warehouse. An Italian newspaper splashed a headline in bold. Il matrimonio più costoso ma il più economico del secolo. The most costly yet the least costly wedding of the century. Then silence fell on Lauren's account. Comments off. Stories gone. Insider said Jeff's team began scrubbing photos and warning guests to stay quiet. The damage, however, was already deep. Their perfect evening now lived online as a case study in glitter gone wrong. The meltdown that followed turned full thriller. Alone in her marble hotel suite, the guest aimed her camera at herself. Gown still dazzling, hair tangled, mascara streaking. Like war paint, she looked ready for battle, not for sleep. With a shaky hand, she raised her glass and let the anger fly. I was promised Versailles and got a high school prom, she shouted while crystal clinked. Jeff's flashy warehouse and fancy tablecloths is no Gatsby palace. Her voice broke into a raw scream that echoed like a siren across the internet. Viewers gasped, replayed, and shared until the numbers climbed higher than the groom's yachts. TikTok filled with reenactment of the fish and asparagus plate. Instagram-style pages crowned her gold balmain gown, the only real luxury on site. Memes pointed at water taxis lined up for VIP exit and guards on every bridge as a true reason the bill soared past reason. T-shirt shops moved faster than delivery drones. I survived the Bezos wedding, sold out before sunrise. Team Bezos kept quiet at first. No statement. No apology. Only tight lips and frantic behind-the-scenes phone calls. Unnamed insiders try to paint her as dramatic one who often blows up in public, yet the internet waited for proof. Proof arrived. Guests began leaking crisp photos that no editor could soften. Wrinkled tablecloths. Dull silverware straight out of a mid-price hotel breakfast line. Off-center lighting that warped faces in every shot. Then the real shocker. A PDF surfaced claiming to show the master invoice. The high-priced Italian opera trio, summer break music students from New York, the $10,000 bottle service, 50 cases of big-box Prosecco poured into fancy glass, that elegant fish entree, flash frozen farm stock plated like a business luncheon. One whistleblower comment summed it up. We dine like conference delegates, not like kings. The story had twisted from petty rant to full-scale expose. While Jeff's advisors scrambled to calm investors and friends of guests who started it all vanished from social media, leaving only her viral hurricane behind. Locked doors, shattered dreams, and a missing bride. The glitter of Venice still glowed, yet Lauren Sanchez vanished from the $50 million fairy tale before dawn. While champagne streamed down crystal towers and guests posed under arches wrapped in gold, Lauren bolted the honeymoon suite and stayed there 3 long days. No brunches, no sunset gondola rides, no glittering boat parties for the A-list crowd. Behind those doors, fury erupted. Insiders swear she hurled designer heels and sobbed. You gave me a cheap look. We look like frauds because of you. In her eyes, the flawless wedding had morphed into global shame, and she blamed the man beside her. By sunrise, tabloids turned the fiasco into a feeding frenzy. Daily Mail, TMZ, and Page 6 blasted cruel headlines. The budget bust heard round the world. TikTok piled on with roast compilations, while meme pages mocked the $50 glam that looked like Wish.com Gatsby. Crowds split apart. Some called Lauren a heartbroken bride crushed by a ruthless guest. Others scoffed, asking how a man worth $200 billion could throw a bash that felt like a reality show reunion hiding behind a fake Versailles filter. Lauren had crafted an image of pure polish. Power pilot, glittering philanthropist, style queen. After the scandal, critics tagged her the new face of fake elegance, saying she staged luxury instead of living it. The fallout grew real fast. A top Silicon Valley boss yanked a multi-billion deal with Bezos, calling the wedding a red flag in taste and judgment. Damage spread to fashion. A European label demanded the instant return of Lauren's custom gown, scrubbed her photos, and axed her from an upcoming campaign. Meanwhile, the mystery guest, once dismissed as a jealous diva, rocketed to fame. Her voice filled every feed, yet her name stayed hidden. She teased the Tell-All podcast how billionaires fake elegance. The wedding that broke my soul, promising raw truth the world had to hear. Streaming giants battle for rights, and whispers said Netflix pushed for a full series title Behind the Billionaire Curtain or The Bezos Mirage. Inside Bezos' camp, aides admitted the Venice Gala had goals far deeper than love. Saying I do wasn't enough. We also needed to say we've changed. One planner confessed. The lavish scene was meant to reset Jeff's image after harsh press, antitrust heat, and claims he'd lost touch with shoppers. Lauren, too, felt pressure, accused of chasing riches, not romance. The Grand Fix, a fantasy wedding in Europe's most romantic city. Filmed like a glossy makeover. Yet the bigger the illusion, the easier it cracks. And crack it did. Officially, the furious guest should never have been present. Sources claim she once ruled Hollywood, traded sharp business jabs with Lauren, and lost her invite late in planning. But a text slip sent her the RSVP link, and she arrived blazing in vintage gold balmain. Staff said she never smiled. She rolled her eyes at the vows, waved off champagne, and glared through every toast. Then the bomb burst. During dessert she stood, voice shaking, and shouted the words many whispered in secret. This isn't affection, it's branding. A glass dropped, guests gasped, security lagged. A bystander caught on phone, and TikTok rocketed the clip to 60 million views overnight. The viral blast shredded the storyline of pure romance. Viewers rewatched every drone shot and pose kiss, hunting signs of stage perfection. Was Jeff's grin rehearsed? Were Lauren's regal stances practiced? Did the shining halls hide flimsy props? Answer for many, yes. What was sold as Wedding of the Year now looked like a slick marketing campaign no longer believed. The guest meltdown spread further proof. High-resolution photos leaked. Wrinkled linens, dull decor, cutlery lifted from mid-range buffets. A so-called opera trio turned out to be New York students on break, while custom bubbly price at $10,000 was bulk Prosecco with fancy labels. Each new receipt looked worse. The wedding felt less Versailles, more temporary theme park. Public trust evaporated. Hashtags rage, hashtag Bezos budget wedding, hashtag ranunculus rage, hashtag more Amazon affair. T-shirts screamed, I survived the Bezos wedding, and sold out in minutes. Team Bezos tried silent strength, but leaks poured faster than they could plug. Crisis staff bought paparazzi shots, begged guests to zip lips, and hoped the storm would fade. Instead, the internet polished its pitchforks. Today, one huge question hangs over the broken fairy tale. Was it a sweet love story or a glittering stage show built to soften a hard brand? Drop your thoughts below. Sabotage or truth revealed? Smash subscribe for more jaw-dropping exposes. This ride is far from over.